In this masterclass, we're going from the very first click on your Mac or PC all the way to advanced masking, keyframing, and AI mastering. I'm not leaving any stones unturned. By the end of this video, you won't just know how to use CapCut, you will actually be a video editor. And because I want you to start creating the very second this video ends, I've put together a Pro Creator Starter Kit for you. It includes 10 of my favorite cinematic LUTs to color grade your footage instantly, plus a curated list of the best royalty-free sound effects on the internet. I'll show you how to download those for free at the very end of this masterclass. So take a deep breath. You're in the right place. Before we touch the timeline, let's get you set up. If you haven't grabbed CapCut yet, use the link in my description to download the desktop version for Mac or PC. Now, full transparency, you'll see a Get Pro Now button. It's usually about $10 a month, but if you use my link, you can try it for free for 7 days. The Pro version unlocks some heavy-hitting AI features we'll be using later to save hours of time. But listen, if you're not ready to invest, don't let that stop you. Just cancel after the 7 days free trial. The free version is still incredibly powerful. And for every pro feature I show today, I'll offer a free workaround where possible. So you'll officially have zero excuses now to start creating. Click on Get Pro Now and sign in using your preferred method. I like to go with my Google account, choose my email, then confirm. After signing in, click on Download CapCut Desktop. It usually only takes a few seconds. Afterward, check your download page and launch the CapCut downloader. I'm on a Mac, but the steps are nearly identical for Windows. Click on Open and wait for the installation process to complete. Once you've installed and opened the app, you'll land here on the homepage. This is your dashboard. I've got a long list of active projects here, but if you're a first-timer, the space will be a clean slate. To get the wheels turning, just click on this big Create Project button. Now, welcome to the engine room. The desktop interface is grouped into 4 main zones. You have the media panel, top left. This is the fridge, where we keep all of our raw ingredients, clips, music, and texts. It is also the home for CapCut stickers, effects, filters, and other presets. To the top center is the player, your monitor. This shows you exactly what your final video will look like in real time. Located at the top right is the details panel. This is where the magic happens. Any clip you click on can be tweaked here, from its size and speed to AI background removal. Finally, at the bottom is your timeline, your workspace. This is where we'll actually build a story. Here, you'll find many handy tools like the crop tool, undo and redo buttons, markers, and so much more. To get started, click on Import in the media library and grab your files. I'm selecting my talking head footage, but a pro tip for desktop users. You can also drag and drop files directly from your computer folders into CapCut. Go ahead and bring in everything you think you'll need. Before we do anything else, look, at the top of my details panel, the name of my project is 0509. Click on Modify. Let's rename that to something else, like my first video. This makes finding your work so much easier later. Under aspect ratio, it says original. However, if you're making a YouTube video or a documentary for widescreen, make sure this is set to 16:9. So if you accidentally imported a vertical phone clip, this button ensures your canvas stays the right size. But if you're making a video for TikTok or YouTube Shorts, then set it to 9:16. There are a few other settings we'll go into much later. Quick tip. Slow computers start getting sluggish once we add effects and many clips to the timeline. To avoid that, click on Performance and make sure Proxy is turned on. It creates smaller temporary files, so your editing stays buttery smooth even on an older laptop. Now, click on Save. Congratulations, you've just created your first project. Our media is in the pool, we have the right project setting. Now, let's build a story. For this video, I'm using my talking head clip. Now, grab your talking head clip and drag it down into the timeline. If your clip looks like a tiny silver at the bottom, hold Alt or Option and scroll your mouse wheel up. This will zoom into the timeline so you can see every frame of your expression for a much tighter cut. You can also use the zoom slider right here, plus to zoom into the timeline or minus to zoom out. You probably saw my intro and thought, wow, eloquent speaker. But let me tell you a secret. There were a lot of retakes. Plus, I had a script right in front of me to remind me of my exact lines. But we don't need all of those in our video. Let me show you the exact steps I followed to sound refined. Now, for the rough cut, most people waste time by dragging the ends of the clips back and forth. But we are going to be faster. But pay attention to this. Master the CapCut shortcut. To find them, click on Help, Shortcut. Now, here are some of the most important ones. JKL navigation. place your finger on J, K, and L. L plays forward, K stops, and J rewinds. Tap L twice to go double speed, or tap additional times to go even faster. This is how you skim through your footage. The blade tool, B. Use your mouse to click on this icon or hit B on your keyboard. To switch to the blade tool, I'm going to find the exact moment I started talking. Click to split the clip right there. Then hit A to go back to the selection tool. Click the dead air at the start and hit delete on your keyboard or use this button. Click on this to undo what we've done. I want to show you an even faster way. Q and W. Think of Q as quit that stuff behind me and W as wipe that stuff ahead of me. It's the fastest way to edit, period. If I move my cursor to where I started talking, hitting Q will automatically repo delete everything to the left of that line. Similarly, hit W to repo delete everything to the right. I can tell a dead space when there's a gap in the audio waveform. If there's a dead space in the middle, then make a cut right before it. Move my playhead to right before I start talking again and press Q on my keyboard. I'll just do that for the rest of the clip. Just like that, we've trimmed the walk up and the walk away and removed all dead spaces. It already looks 1,000 times better. Make sure main track magnet, this little magnet on the top left of the timeline, is on. This ensures that when you delete the walk up at the start, the rest of the video automatically snaps to the beginning, so there's no black screen. Turned off, this is what you'll get. While the blade tool B is great, the real speed comes from hitting Ctrl B or Command B while you're playing the video. It splits the clip exactly where your mouse cursor is. Remember this, keep your left hand on the keyboard and your right hand on the mouse. That's the pro stance that doubles your speed. The cutting process I showed you is hard work, but it's still important to know the skill. Now let me show you how to use AI to shorten the process. Let's restart on an empty timeline. Drag the entire video into the timeline. Once it's in place, click on this icon right here and wait for it to transcribe your audio. It's actually a pro feature. After transcribing, go to pauses, select all, repeats, select all, go to filler words and click on select all. Now, if we click on all, we'll notice that it has struck out repeated sentences. Just review the script, and if you're satisfied, click on delete. Now you'll be left with a trimmed version of your clip on your timeline. Go ahead and review the clip on the timeline and trim out any mistakes. Now, our video already looks 10 times better. If you're not a graphics-heavy content creator, this is even post-worthy. Like one of the most famous YouTubers, Moist Critical. Just a talking head and a few B-roll, yet his audience absolutely loves them. Yeah, you got me. I'm a fan. Charlie is proof that as long as your cuts are tight and your story is real, you don't need $1 million studio. You just need to hit delete on the boring parts. Great visuals get people to click, but great audio gets them to stay. If your video sounds like you're recording inside a tin can, people will bail in 5 seconds. Now, let's make your $10 mic sound like a $1,000 Shure SM7B. As proof, the audio you're hearing now is from my old iPhone 11. You can hear the popping and clicking. Let's make it better. First, syncing. If you recorded high quality audio on a separate microphone, drag the file into your timeline under the video. Highlight both the video and the audio. Right-click and select Auto Sync Video and Audio. CapCut's AI will align the waveforms perfectly. Once it's done, I like to do 2 things to make it easy to work with. First, we have to mute the bad audio linked to the video. Click on the video in the timeline, go to the Details panel, click on Audio, and drag the volume slider to the left until it touches the end. Then, select both the audio and the video, right-click, and then click on Create Compound Clip. The shortcut is Option or Alt+G. This will immediately link the video with its new audio so it's treated as one. Now, let's improve the quality of our audio. Click on the audio file to select it, while making sure you're still on the selection tool. Now look at the audio tab in the details panel top right. We're gonna follow 3 steps. Loudness normalization. Check this box immediately. It automatically brings your voice to the standard professional level, so your viewers don't have to keep adjusting their volume. Noise reduction. If you have a hum from an AC or a fan in the background, toggle this on. Now the magic button, enhance voice. This is a 2026 showstopper. If you're a pro user, slide this on. It uses AI to simulate a $500 studio microphone. It removes echo and adds the deep podcast richness to your voice. Even if you're recording on a cheap headset, this button makes you sound like you're in a soundproof booth. You can adjust the intensity slider, feel the difference, and choose the one that suits your voice. Now let's compare the before and after. As proof, the audio you're hearing now is from my old iPhone 11. You can hear the popping and clicking. Let's make it better. As proof, the audio you're hearing now is from my old iPhone 11. You can hear the popping and clicking. Let's make it better. Boom, and just like that, all that popping, clicking, humming, and background noise is gone. If you're on the free version, you must have noticed that all of these options are only available to pro users. But a workaround would be to do the following instead. For loudness normalization, if your audio is in a separate file, you can normalize it for free by visiting Image Tool Hub. I'll leave the link in the description. Now we're on the loudness normalization page. Follow these exact steps. We're making a YouTube video, so I'll select YouTube, LUFS normalization, leave everything else as it is, then drag the audio file here to start the normalization process. Once it's done, download your new audio file. For the voice enhancement, you can simply use online tools like Adobe Podcast as a workaround. Note, you have to do all of these before importing the refined audio into CapCut. Finally, look at the audio meters next to the timeline. You want your voice to stay in the yellow zone, between -6 and -12 decibel. If it hits the red, you're peaking, and it'll hurt your viewers' ears. Just slide the volume bar in the details panel until it's sitting right in that sweet spot. For convenience, especially if you plan on working on multiple projects a month, the Pro version will save you so much time. The only option for free users is voice isolation. It can improve the clarity of your voice, but it doesn't help much with the texture. It's great for cleaning up the room tone. Follow all the steps I just showed you, and you are already ahead of 90% of the beginners out there. We've got the look and the sound. Now let's talk about engagement. In 2026, people watch videos in silence. If you don't have captions, you're losing half of your audience. Let's fix that. Go to the text tab in the top left and click on Auto-Caption. Select your language and hit Generate. Within seconds, CapCut will transcribe your entire video. Then in the details panel, click on Templates and find the one that matches your vibe. It's a pro feature, so if you're not on the pro plan, you'll have to manually type the captions. To do that, go to Captions, Templates, drag any of the free templates down to your timeline, and then in the details panel, you can erase the default text and type in your own. When you're done with the first one, hold Alt or Option, click and drag the text to duplicate it. Then you can customize it as well. Just keep duplicating until you're done. But if you find this process tedious, there's a quicker way to do it for free. First, export your CapCut video by clicking on this button right here. I'll not touch any of these settings. Just click on Export. I'm exporting a clean version now just for the captions. I'll show you my secret social export setting at the very end of this masterclass to make sure your video looks crisp on every platform. You can find your exported video by clicking on Open Folder. Next, visit the website canva.com/features/auto-caption, or just follow the link in my description. Click on the Upload Your Video button, then select the video file you earlier exported. You might be prompted to create a Canva account. I'll just log in using Gmail. After that, it'll launch the Canva editor. Just tap on Text, Captions, then select a style. I love this one, Eye Candy. I'll select it, then click on Generate Captions. Even with AI, sometimes the caption gets a word or two wrong, especially if you use slang. So always do a quick sanity check to make sure your text actually matches what you said. For me, the AI nailed every word. I just click on Download and wait for it. This already makes my video look 10 times better. And honestly, this is enough for most people. Now, if you want to keep everything inside one app and avoid the export-import dance, that 7-day pro trial we talked about starts looking like a huge time saver. But as you can see, the Canva route gets the job done for free. Now, let's add some flavor. A talking head for 30 minutes is boring. We need B-roll and layers. Here's how to add overlay and B-roll in CapCut. Drag any image or video from your media pool to a layer above your main track. That's a B-roll. If it's a video and its audio is too loud, select it, and in the details panel, go to the audio tab and drag the slider to the left so it doesn't compete with your voice. If you want it muted, just drag it all the way to infinity. You can also add a track-based muting or timeline-based volume control. To mute a track, just click on this little audio icon just before the track. And for a timeline-based volume control, hover your cursor on the lower parts of the clip in the timeline. Then once you notice this icon, click, hold, and drag it upward to increase its volume or downward to reduce it. You can stack multiple elements on top of each other, or even let 3 videos play at the same time, as you saw in my intro. To do that, just drop everything on the timeline on layers above the main track, but all on different layers. Now we're occupying layers 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have to resize each overlay. Tap on it, go to the Details panel. Under Transform, dial down the slider for scale. Now we can click on the overlay in the player, hold, drag it to the exact position you want it. This creates a picture-in-picture effect. Just do the same for your PNG and other overlay elements. Now, speaking of PNGs, CapCut has a ton of them in the stickers library, pre-animated and ready to use. Just click on stickers and enter a search keyword if you have something in mind. Once you find something you love, drag it down to the timeline and adjust its size and position in the Details panel. You've probably seen those pro videos where the text has a beautiful soft glow behind it so it's easy to read. This is especially useful if both your image and your text have similar shades. Without a soft mask, this is what my text looks like on the same video. It's very hard to read. Now let me show you how to fix this. Tap on text, add text, then drag the default text down to the timeline exactly where you want it. Select the text, then customize it in the Details panel. Here, you can go ahead and erase the default text and enter a custom text. Select font. Let's search for Montserrat. I'm using Montserrat because it's clean and modern. If you're going for a more cinematic or documentary feel, look for Inter or Lexant. Then we can increase or decrease the font size right here. You can make it bold, underlined, or italic. Let's just leave it at bold. This right here is where you change the case. This makes it all uppercase. This is for lowercase, and this is for title case. I'll go with title case. I'll leave my color as white, but the box right here is where you change the color of your text. The character button is to increase or decrease the spaces between the letters. As for lines, it's only used if you have multiple lines in your text. Let's just add for CapCut to the custom text. Now you see, I can then reduce or increase the space between the lines. CapCut has a ton of text style presets. But honestly, I just enjoy customizing my text manually to give me creative freedom. Now for the magic trick, go down to Glow and click to enable it. There are two versions, let's go with a free one. See how it makes it pop against the background? Now let's make it even better. Go to Media Library and grab the plain black square. Drag it above the video, just below the text. In the Details panel, go to Mask, add Mask and select Split. Click and drag this icon to rotate it. Then use the feather slider to soften the edges of the mask. You can also do it like this. See these double arrows on the mask? Pull them out. That's the feather tool. It turns a harsh black box into a soft professional gradient. Now let's go back to basic. Under Blend, drop the opacity to around 30 or 40. Suddenly your text sits on a soft professional looking shadow that makes it look like it was designed in a high-end studio. It's subtle, but it separates the noobs from the pros. To see the difference with or without the shadow, select the clip with a black shadow and press V on your keyboard to disable it. Tap on V again to re-enable. You can see the difference. The best part, you can save this for future reuse. Right-click on it and click on Save Preset. Now you'll find it under Media, Yours, My Presets. Next time you need it, just drag it down below the text layer. Let's animate our text. You can use one of the animation presets by selecting the text and in the Details panel, clicking on Animation. For in, just choose any of these presets. This will change how the text comes in and grab even more attention. Keep your in animation fast, around 0.5 seconds. You want the text to grab attention, not take all day to show up. You can do the same for out to change how the text leaves. Now let's just trim the shadow to match the duration of our text. And that's it. But if you're not a type who likes a custom text design, here's a quick way to add professional looking text templates to your videos. Click on Text, Text Templates. And there you'll find a ton of pre-animated text templates. Some of the best ones are pro, but you'll find some really good free options too, like this one right here. Just drag it down to your timeline, and in the text panel, you can customize the write-up, size, and position. This is where things get really fun. Now let's talk about green screen and the AI cutout. Many people become YouTubers without having that dream studio, or they just want to vary the looks across different projects. That's where the green screen comes in. As you can see now, my studio is not real. Let me show you how to achieve something like this in CapCut. If you shot your video with a green screen behind you, click on the clip, go to Video, remove background. Select Chroma key, click on the color picker, then click on the green backdrop in the player and dial up the intensity slider to fine-tune the result. Boom, the background is gone. Pro trick. Crank that shadow slider just enough to bring back depth in your hair and clothes. It stops that fake cutout look and makes the lighting feel real. Then drag the feather edge slider slightly to the right to soften the edges. If you're on the Pro plan, you can slightly increase the cleanup edge slider as well to make it even better. You can use Chroma key for animated icons as well. It's the same process. I got this nice subscribe button from pixabay.com. I'll just drop it on the timeline, select Chroma key, click on the color picker, then click on the green background and dial up the intensity. You can see this works very well on elements with a perfect green background. A workaround or different approach would be to use AI auto removal. Don't have a green screen? No problem. CapCut has an auto removal feature. Just toggle this on and wait for the AI to process the background removal. AI auto removal is magic, but it works best if you aren't waving your hands around like a crazy person. Keep your movement steady and the AI will track you perfectly. In addition, film on a plain background, maybe a flat wall so the subject stands out. The catch? It's a pro feature. The fix? If you need to remove a complex background for free, use an external site like Adobe's background removal. Then bring the transparent file back into CapCut. Adobe's background removal is currently a solid free choice for high quality results. But remember, nothing beats the clean edges of a $20 physical green screen. And then there's the custom removal. This lets you draw a stroke around the subject with the brush tool to isolate it from the background. Just click on the brush tool, then gently draw a stroke within the areas you want to select. If you make a mistake or you want to unselect a small area, you can use the eraser tool to do just that. This is essentially a simplified version of rotoscoping. It's tedious, but it's the only way to save a shot if you didn't plan ahead with a green screen. There are free and pro versions for both the brush and the eraser tool. The free gives the exact same result, but with a bit more hard work. Once you are done selecting, click on Apply. As you can see, the result isn't as clean as when I used Chroma key. After successfully removing the background, you can then drag in a new background. First, let's drag our talking head to a new layer so we can have an empty track below. Then drag the background to that empty track. If you want to mimic a shallow depth of field, then select the new background, go to Effects and search for Blur, and drag the blur effect down to the background clip. As I mentioned earlier, nothing beats a green screen. It's how Hollywood producers pull off some of the most ridiculous stunts in sci-fi movies. But overall, CapCut isn't the best at background removal compared to DaVinci Resolve or Premiere Pro. There's so much room for improvement. Now we're getting into the surgeon's tool, masking. Masking allows you to hide, reveal, or cut out specific parts of your video. I use this feature especially if I want to create a split screen video or fake a side-by-side video of me talking to myself. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You heard him, hit that subscribe button. What you just watched, I was able to create it using the masking effect. But that's a deep dive for another video. Here, I'll just show you how to do a basic and practical masking effect using my talking head video and the CapCut interface. The background video, which is the CapCut interface, will be on layer 1 and my talking head video will be on layer 2. Let's select the video on layer 2. In the details panel, go to Video, Mask, Add Mask. You'll see options like Split, great for split screens, Film Strip, perfect for cinematic black bars, Circle, Rectangle, Star, Heart, and Text. There's even a pen tool. This is the ultimate weapon for custom shapes. But for 90% of your videos, the rectangle and circle will do the heavy lifting. Circular and rectangular masks are popular with reaction, tutorial, and gaming content creators. Like the video of me talking now was done with a rectangular masking effect. After choosing the mask you want, I'll go with rectangle, adjust the position by clicking the edges of the mask. I like to round the corners a bit. You can even feather your mask if you want to give it that nice soft edge effect. But since I want a solid edge, I just leave the feathering at 0. You can track your mask if it's a moving object. If you want the mask to follow your face while you move, CapCut has AI tracking. Scroll down to the track section, leave the direction at both, and hit track. And the mask sticks to it like glue. But my video isn't a moving object, so I'm okay with a stationary mask. One final thing I like to do is right-click on the masked out video and create a compound clip. Then you can click on the mask in the player to move it around however you want. You can even resize it by increasing or reducing its scale. If you only learn one thing today, let it be keyframes. A keyframe is just a bookmark in time. It tells CapCut at a second, I want the media to be this size, and at the next second, I want it to be that size. You can equally use keyframes on position, opacity, and pretty much any property that has this tiny diamond button beside it. It's how video editors do basic animation. Now let's use keyframes to create a nice fade-in transition using this YouTube logo. Move your playhead to the beginning of the clip and click on this diamond button beside opacity. And once it turns blue, it has added a keyframe. Now let's remain in the same position and drag the slider down to 0. Now let's go back to the timeline and move a few frames forward. Then drag the slider back to 100. Now this will create a second keyframe, which creates a nice fade-in transition. If you change your mind about the fade-in duration, you can either increase or decrease the distance between the keyframes. Click on the diamond button on the clip in the timeline, hold and drag to the right to increase the time it takes for you to fade in, or drag to the left to hasten the fade. What if you want to animate the size? Move your playhead to where you want the animation to start. In the details panel, click on the diamond next to scale. Move your playhead forward a few frames and increase the scale. We've just created a smooth zoom. Now let's replay it from the beginning. It slowly fades in, then slowly zooms in. Now I have to show you something very important. Let's animate this car from left to right. First, I'll place the car where I want the animation to start. Move my playhead to the beginning of the clip in the timeline. Then in the details panel, create a keyframe for position. Play it forward to where you want the animation to end. Thereafter, click on the car in the player, hold and drag it to exactly where you want it to be at the end of our animation. And now it goes from left to right. Now let me make the animation faster so you'll understand what I'm about to show you. It's not perfect yet. Standard keyframes look robotic. They start and stop abruptly. This is like going from 100 miles per hour to 0. It's like a car crash. Let's fix it. Whenever you animate using keyframes, right-click on the first keyframe, then click on Ease In. Right-click on the second keyframe and click on Ease Out. This makes the movement start slowly, then fast, and then slowly coast to a stop. Looks so much better. But there's an even better way to ease your animation. But first, let's click on the undo button twice to undo the ease in and out. Now, select your clip, hit the shortcut, Alt-K or Option-K to open the graph editor. See this linear line? That's our car crashing from 0 to 100 miles per hour. In physics, we call this linear motion. In video editing, we call it the noob look. Select both keyframes on the x-axis, click on the free curve, then choose a preset. I prefer the quad ease. By selecting quad ease, we're adding acceleration and deceleration. Suddenly, the lines become a smooth wave. This makes the movement start slowly, then fast, and then slowly coast to a stop. As a physicist, I can tell you, this is how the real world actually works. Eased out motion is the difference between a high-end feel and a scrappy edit. The colors of the images straight from your phone or camera might not be exactly what you like, but CapCut makes it very easy for beginners to color grade. If the video you want to color grade is already on your timeline, just click on it. After that, in the details panel, you'll see a bunch of options under Adjust to color grade your footage. If you're on the Pro plan, you can try out this Auto Adjust option. CapCut's 2026 AI analyzes your skin tone and the lighting to fix the white balance instantly. You can drag the intensity slider around to see what works for you. And then there's the color match option, also for Pro users only, which lets you select a reference image from your computer and have CapCut match its color. In other words, find a cinematic photo you like, download it, and you can easily recreate the same look for your own video in CapCut. First, let's turn off Auto Adjust. Then toggle on Color Match. Select Local, then click on the plus button, then drag the image from where you have it saved on your computer to this area. After that, click on OK, and boom, it matches the color. You can also drag around the intensity slider to see what's best for your video. One important point to note, never apply color directly to your clip. Instead, in the Media panel, click on Adjustment, drag a custom adjustment layer down to your timeline above your clip, and stretch it over your whole timeline. Click on the adjustment layer itself before tweaking the colors. Thereafter, go back to Adjust, Basic, then scroll all the way down to Adjust. If you already know your ways around color, this is where you adjust the temperature, saturation, exposure, contrast, and all of that fun stuff. Now let's go to HSL, which stands for Hue, Saturation, and Lightness. This is your best friend. If your face looks too red, select the red circle and dial down the saturation. Pro tip for human skin tones. Your face lives almost entirely in the orange and red channels. If you want to look less washed out, slightly bump up the saturation on the orange circle, not the yellow. As for curves, this section lets you adjust the brightness of your highlights, midtones, and shadows if that's your thing. Mask lets you isolate a specific part of your footage and color grade it separately. If you want me to share my exact CapCut color grading workflow, let me know in the comments. Even experts don't like to color grade every project manually. When it's not a professional movie project, we all love shortcuts. And that's where LUTs come in. If you watched up to this point, it's time for your first reward. In the description of this video, you'll find a Google Drive link to 10 of my favorite cinematic LUTs. Just go ahead and download them for free. If that's not enough for you, you can also download free .cube files from sites like FreshLuts and import them into CapCut for free. You don't need a pro preset to look like a movie. After downloading and extracting your LUTs, to add them in the media library, go to Adjustment, click on LUTs, then click on Import. Locate the files on your computer to import them to CapCut. Now you can drag any of the LUTs from your media library down to your timeline right above your clip, and then play around with the intensity in the details panel until you find the look you want. So you see, if I activate and deactivate it, this is the difference the LUT makes. There are many ways to add transitions in CapCut, depending on the type of clip and media. If it's a B-roll sitting on a different layer, you can just tap on the clip, go to the details panel, and click on animation. For in, just choose any of the presets. Adjust the duration, usually 0.5 seconds is perfect. You don't want it to take forever. Then click on out and choose any of the presets as well. There are so many of them. There's another way to do a transition if two clips sit side by side on the same track. Just go to the media area, click on transition, scroll through the long list until you find what you like. When you do, just drag it down to the timeline and place it in between both clips. Pro tip, the audio sync. When you add a transition, go to Audio, Sound Effect, search for a corresponding sound effect depending on the type of transition. If it's a zoom or a pan transition, search for whoosh, drag it to the audio track and line up the peak so that the sound matches exactly where the visual transition happens. If I replay this, you get a nice whoosh sound effect as the transition happens. If the audio is too loud, select it, go to the Audio tab and turn down the volume to, let's say, -10 decibel. What if you need background music to set the mood? CapCut actually has a massive built-in library. You'll find it by clicking on Audio in the top left, then Music. The tracks are neatly grouped by vibe, like vlog, marketing, or travel. But I need to give you a massive warning here. Be incredibly careful using CapCut's music on long-form YouTube videos. ByteDance owns CapCut, so those songs are heavily cleared for TikTok and Shorts. But if you put them on a long-form YouTube video, you'll get hit with a copyright claim and lose your monetization. To stay 100% safe, do what I do. Download royalty-free tracks directly from the YouTube audio library. It's completely free. On your YouTube dashboard, click on Audio Library and browse through the songs. Once you find something you like, click on this download button right here to download it, and then import it into CapCut. Thereafter, drag it down into your timeline below everything else. Then I'll trim the song to match with the duration of my video. Thereafter, select the song, go to the Audio tab in the Details panel and dial the volume down so the track sits safely between -25 decibel and -35 decibel, peaking no louder than -20 decibel. Your voice should always be the star of the show. And boom, just like that, it sounds amazing. We are at the finish line. Don't ruin a great edit with bad export setting. But before I export a video, there's one final thing I like to do. For my pro users, select the talking head clip and its audio, right-click and click on Create Compound Clip. Then select it, go to Audio and click on Normalize Loudness. Go to your sound effects, select it or select them and click on Normalize Loudness. Then select your background music and click on Normalize Loudness as well. If you're on the free version, just make sure you manually dial down the background track to around -25 decibel so it stays safely under your talking voice. Then click on the blue export button in the top right. You can choose a custom name for your exports right here. Click on this folder icon to choose where you want your video saved. Now for the resolution settings. The general rule of thumb is if you shot your video in 4K, export in 4K. If it's 1080p, export in 1080p and so on. But where your video will be watched, devices, audience, and platform are actually more important. So sometimes you need to export a 4K video which is massive in a lower resolution. If your video is a documentary and was shot in 4K and you expect it to be watched on wide screens like laptops and TVs, then you're better off maximizing its quality by exporting in 4K. However, if you're uploading to TikTok or YouTube Shorts, then 1080p is actually often better as it prevents the app from overcompressing your file. For bitrate, set this to recommended or higher. This keeps the image sharp. Leave the codec at H.264. Format MP4, which is generally best for web, social media, and broad device compatibility due to smaller file sizes. Leave the frame rate at the exact frame rate you filmed in. That's it. Just hit this export button right here. You made it. You just finished the 2026 CapCut Masterclass. As promised, your Pro Creator Starter Kit is waiting for you in the top link of the description. Inside, you'll find those 10 LUTs we used today to get that cinematic look, plus a document with my favorite hidden sites for free, high-quality sound effects. These are the same tools I use to stay efficient and keep my production value high. Use them and most importantly, start creating. If you learned anything from this video, give it a thumbs up. I'll see you in the next one.